Hello and welcome once again to Harrow Park Model Railway. This is part 5 of the Triang Locomotive series. We're looking this week at the single-ended diesel, the R55 as number, and for the Canadian market mostly, although it was actually sold in the UK as well in the early versions. The diesel locomotive, although it was called the single-ended diesel, is actually based on the F7, a United States design, which was quite prolific in Canada. We're going to start with the very first version, which came out in 1955. I'll just bring it into view. And there she comes. Oh, there. And this is the R55. It's got silver. I'm going to take it off the track a moment. It's got silver nose cone, silver nose at the front with a light, and the let's get my screwdriver. And the number here lights up as well when it's actually running. I could actually put it on the track and hold it in place, and we can see if the let's get a hair on there, right, and see if the numbers light up. Can't really see it in this light, but you can see the light lighting up at the front, but not the numbers. The numbers are very, very faint because it's bright daylight and I've got several lights facing the table. Right. What was interesting about this version is that they hadn't designed a diesel motor bogie at that time, and they still used the XO4 motor, which they used in the steam locomotives, and they placed it in this one. I've left the two screws that go in the top here. I've left the two screws off at the moment so that I can take the top off, and you can have a look at the motor, which has got the very early version. I'll take the top off. In fact, while I've got the top in my hand, I can show you the details. There's two metal, plastic. Are they metal? On some of them it's plastic. This one's the metal version. And on the dummy wagon, a dummy car, I've got the plastic horns. Plastic horns only came out in 1 year, 1955. From 1956, there were metal horns. And if we look inside here, it's difficult to see. There, I just got it in the view now. It says Triang underneath with the number and then made in England inside there. Right. Now, I've took that off so that you could see the motor running. I'm going to start it up. See the lights come on already. There, basically, you can see it running now. It's got the XO4 motor here, and there it's got two brass cogs that go right down to the drive wheel. I'm actually going to take it off the track and bring it right forward to the camera so you can really see it. There you can see the cogs on the right there, and the XO4 motor in the middle, and running the motor bogie. Oh, still got the power left on. Right, I'm going to turn that off. And that only came out the first less than a year, I think, before the next one came in. I'm going to put this one on next to it, and then you can see the difference. This side you've got the XO4 version, which was the very first version, and then shortly afterwards they designed the motor bogie, which was used on quite a few diesel. Let's bring that right forward there. That's the standard motor bogie, which replaced this one here. Right. I'll put that top back on. I'm not going to screw the tops back on camera because it takes too much time. But I'll do that off camera later. Right, you've seen it working. That's the early version, and that, like I say, that one came out in 1955, and quite soon afterwards, within about 18 months, it had a red front, right? And there's the dummy version, so you could actually put them back to back and run it as a double unit. It would be back to back, and then you got the other one here. You got that one there then. But for a short time, there was a B unit. The B unit, in reality, was a motor unit without a cab, and that could then be put in between two of these units. So you had the driving unit, the dummy unit, and then this one in the middle for really long trains. So you actually, in reality, you'd have three motors, but in the model form, only one has a motor fitted. This one is quite rare because it was taken out of the catalogue in 1961, and it didn't go for all that long. And the very early version, this one here, has the number. It's got the number 4008 and 4008 at both ends. And that was also only for a short time, the very first ones. After that, the number was only at one end. And like I said, this one was taken out of the catalogue in 1961. I'll take that out of the way. And I've already shown you the dummy version. That one was taken out of the catalogue in 1962. And the motor version was taken out of the catalogue by the end of 1963. But that was the first version with the silver front. Then came the next version, which is this one here. And this one was painted red at the front. That was because there was always marks, flow marks in the plastic from the molds, and it made the silver one look a bit ugly sometimes. So they painted it red, especially at the cab, so that the flow marks in the plastic process wouldn't show through. This one came out in 1957, and it's got the Mark II couplings. I've just knocked the light. Right, and this one, there. That's good. Now you could see the number here lighting up, which you couldn't see on the early one. So that was the one that came out in 1957 with the red front. Excuse me. And also you had a dummy version of that one as well. And like I said, the dummy version was taken out of the catalogue in 1962. And then from 63 onwards, you only had the single unit. This is, I know it's 1957 because it's got the Mark II couplings at the front there and the back. So that was the ones with the Mark II couplings. And then the next version, still with Triang railways on the side. This one was with the Mark III couplings. You can see that, I'll bring it close. You can see it's got the Mark III couplings here. And they came out for this locomotive in 1959. So there you got the Triang railways written on there. See the metal horns instead of the plastic ones. And then here we got the dummy version. By this time, the battery, well, I suppose you've got it. No, it wouldn't be a battery box, would it? It would be the fuel tank here. The fuel tank had the number taken off it. On the very early ones, they had a number here, and that was taken off about 1957-58. The number, the locomotive number. In fact, if I go back to the very old one, I can bring it in, and it's got, you see here, this is the very early version, and it's got the number here, the R number for the model R55. That was the the silver and red versions. Right. How long did they last for? Yeah, they were taken out the catalogue by 1963. At least the UK catalogue. They were still sold in Australia and Canada, but for all intents and purposes, 1963, they were out of the UK catalogue. The next one we've got, and this is quite a nice one. I like this one. This is the CN, Canadian National. And it's the first one where they've actually got a true livery and not a made-up Triang Railways livery. Very nice one, this, with the stripes on it and the red front. In fact, I'll turn it around this way. You can see the CN on it. I've actually got two of these. So I'm thinking of converting one of them to a dummy unit so that I can have them running with one going forward and the other one going in reverse. So a double header as such. That's the Canadian one from 1965, and it was actually sold in the UK in 1968, 1969. It appeared in the UK catalogue for 2 years. So that was that one. And then there were several for Canadian and Australian markets that never made it to the UK catalogue. And this is one of them here. This is CP Rail, Canadian Pacific. There was actually an earlier Canadian Pacific version in sort of a light grey, and I don't have that one. And I don't have the Trans-Australia version either. But the number's been changed. The number is now 1404. And this one was made, when was this one made? This was made in 1970. This one came out in 1970. Now, in 1971, 1,900 of these red body shells were held back for the UK market. And instead of CP Rail on them, they changed it to Transcontinental just for this 1,900 models. And they were sold, they were available in 1971 in one set called the Overlander set. And that was in the UK catalogue in 1971. And I have one here. And that's this one. That's the Transcontinental 1404 for the Overlander set in the UK 1971. By 1972-73, there was none of these being made anymore. And they disappeared from the catalogue, including the export catalogues for New Zealand, Australia, Canada. They disappeared completely. See, all my models are working models. And that is the story of the F7 diesel locomotive, the single-headed diesel. We looked at the red ones. We looked at the red ones with the Mark III couplings, with the red noses, sorry. And then we looked at the ones with the Mark II couplings. And then the very early ones with the very early motor before the motor bogie. and we looked at the seemingly rare B unit. What is interesting is that, let's see, which one have I got the top knot screwed on? This one. You'll notice that this one doesn't have a light in it because I built this one purely from spares from a spares box from the ground up. And what is interesting about this motor bogie, it was used in the export switcher locomotive, and it was also used in the dock shunter for the UK, but that'll be coming slightly later at a later time. Right then, so we've looked at the F7 locomotive, and next week we're going to be looking at the 08 shunter locomotive, shunter diesel for the UK market. Okay, and thank you for taking a look, and please join me again next week. Bye bye.